Hello students and welcome to yet another video on foundation course for business statistics. In this video we are going to go through scale of measurement. So what is scale of measurement in business statistics? So basically scale of measurement refers to the way variables or numbers are classified and quantified in statistics. So we have already seen a lot of examples. Okay, so let's take an example. If you're collecting a data of students, you might have to capture a field which will identify the gender of a student. So whether a student is a male or female. If you are capturing say data for employees in any organization, you might have to capture the uh, the data which is marital status of the individual, whether the individual is married or unmarried. You might have to capture the qualification of individual, whether the individual is 10th plus 10th pass, 12th pass, graduate, undergraduate, stream of graduation. Now when you capture this data, you can actually count the numbers based on the values in that field. For example, how many students in the college are males? So what is the percentage distribution amongst the students between male and female? So it's a very valid information which one would like to have. So there are different kind of scales of measurement, and they decide what kind of statistical operations we can carry out on such measurements. For example, if you have classified data into male and female, then you can't calculate mean or probably standard deviation on that piece of information. But what you can calculate is probably count. So how many number of males and how many number of females, and then you can actually calculate the percentage or percentage of distribution between two categories. But if you have probably collated a data which gives the feedback about feedback about say a restaurant in terms of quality of food on the scale of 1 to 5. Okay, so this is a kind of ordinal data. There is an order in this, so you can actually calculate the mean as well. Okay, so these are different scale of measurement. In next slide we'll actually go through what are the different scales of measurement and example of those scales. Okay, so there are basically four levels of measurement. So there are four levels of scales of measurement: nominal, ordinal, interval, and ratio. So let us understand what nominal scale is. In this kind of data, categories don't have, or this data don't have any order or ranking. For example, we have taken an example of gender, which is male and female. So we don't have any rank in that. But on the other hand, you find rank, say in the data where you are collecting the designation of a employee. So you know that the employee can be assistant manager, a manager, a senior manager, a divisional manager, a general manager. Now we also know that in such case there is an order. The assistant manager is junior to a manager is junior to a senior manager is junior to divisional manager, probably divisional manager is junior to general manager. So there is a hierarchy. Even in army, navy, air force, if you go in services, there is a hierarchy. Okay, you have second lieutenant, lieutenant captain, major, so on and so forth, right? So in nominal data, you don't have hierarchy or ranking, whereas in ordinal data you have hierarchy and ranking, right? So there is a meaningful order, so there is hierarchy here. So for example, examples given over here are poor, satisfactory, or below average, average, very good, good. So there is a order in this data. Whereas blood group, A, B, O. There is no order. A is has got a equal order as B, O as the equal order as A and B. So what are the permissible operations on nominal data? So permissible operations on nominal data are count and mode. You can just calculate mode. If you remember how you calculate mode, the largest frequency of that particular category would be a mode, or largest numbers that are found. Okay, frequently occurring number, that becomes a mode. Whereas count, yes, you want to count how many A group is there, how many B group is there. So these are the only two operations that are permissible on nominal. Whereas additional median is permissible on ordinal, right? What is the third category? Third category is interval, and this is very, very interesting, and you need to understand what this really means. So it is a ordered data with equal internals but no true zero. Please try to understand what do we mean by no true zero. Okay, so probably let's take an example of temperature, right? So there is something called as 0 degrees Celsius, right? But do we actually say that this particular temperature, the value is a real zero word for that temperature? No. Basically, it is a relative term that this particular temperature, which is very, very close to what cold is, or it's very cold, okay, that particular temperature is termed as 0 degrees Celsius. Okay, there is nothing called, it doesn't actually have a value, right? Similarly, today we have to 2025 as year, right? So 2025, if you say that 2025 years ago there was a 0 year, so is that a real value zero? No, it is, it is a relative value. So we can say 2025 AD, after the death of Christ. Okay, so probably 0th year would be the year which the incident occur, and then we say that 2025 AD. So it's a relative term. Okay, and what are the operations that happen? So all numerical operations like plus, minus, okay, ca calculation of mean and standard deviation can happen on the interval, right? So you can do uh, plus minus on years, you can do plus minus on temperature, but what is not permissible is you can't divide and multiply. And division and multiple is only possible when you actually have true zero, right? So that's where the ratio type is. And what are, so height can be zero, right? Yeah. So somebody somewhere you just don't have any height, so that's zero. If something is empty, doesn't carry any weight, is zero. A unborn baby, the age is zero. Okay, sales revenue, yes, it can be zero. Nothing got sold, so it can be zero, right? So these are of type ratio. Okay, so we have seen four types of scales: nominal, ordinal, internal, interval, and ratio. And basically, these are the examples of those scales. So these examples will help you understand. Okay, so if you get something which is very similar to male, female category, married, unmarried category, blood group category, right? You will immediately know that yes, this data is nominal type of data, right? Similarly, ordinal, where there is an order, interval, yes, there is no real or true zero, just like temperature, year, ratio, all numerical data where true zero exists, yeah, is ratio. So and all permissible operations are plus, minus, multiplication, division, and all statistical measurements like measure of dispersion, central tendency can be calculated. Okay, so thanks a lot. With this, we come to the end of this video. Thank you so much, and